Anyone with a brain understands how much of a failure President Obama was. In particular, he failed militarily and made the entire world look at the United States as weak. And one Army general just exposed a shocking act of treason Obama committed that made us less safe. U.S. Army General John Nicholson is a well-known figure in the military. He was the commander of Operation Resolute in Afghanistan. Despite serving during the Obama administration, General Nicholson has strong words to say to his former boss. He even recently went on to describe how Obama did more for the morale of our enemies than he did for our own military. Nicholson contends that spending 5 years continually reminding the Taliban that U.S. forces were leaving Afghanistan made the enemy believe that we had lost our will. As reported by CNS News, 5 years of telegraphing to the Taliban that U.S. and coalition forces were leaving Afghanistan prompted the enemy to believe we had lost our will, the top U.S. military officer leading the campaign there said Monday. Nicholson's statement becomes more apparent when you look at how the entire Middle East walked all over the United States during Obama's reign. His near-constant apologies and refusal to take tough action showed terrorists that they could do whatever they wanted. But, while General Nicholson may not have good things to say about former President Obama, he has great things to say about President Donald Trump. In recent statements, he has commended the actions of the current president. He specifically mentioned the new strategy of going after the Taliban by targeting their main funding source, drugs. Also reported by CNS News, but a recent NATO defense ministers gathering, said Operation Resolute support commander U.S. Army General John Nicholson, had given him a real sense that we now have the will to succeed. 3 months into President Trump's new South Asia strategy, Nicholson briefed reporters by teleconference on how forces battling the Taliban are focusing on targeting the terrorist group's main funding source, drugs. He also spoke of how encouraged he was at the NATO ministerial in Brussels this month to hear 24 nations signaling potential troop increases. Almost to a minister we heard very strong shows of support for the mission. The U.S. military has been following the strategy of targeting drugs rigorously. In just recent days the U.S., along with Afghan forces, took out 10 opium production facilities as a part of Operation Jagged Knife, which was led by General John Nicholson. The operation was only possible because of recently expanded military powers, which allowed the F-22 plane to be used for the first time in airstrikes over Afghanistan. This is just one of many examples of tough military action in the Trump administration. It is clear President Trump is following through on his promise to make the military strong again.